Hey all, Farmer Dre back at it. It is Saturday night. We are out here with Isaac. We are packing tomatoes for the farmer's market. And as we're packing here, I just remembered that I had a question asked on how do I grade my tomatoes and what the number ones and seconds look like. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how I grade my tomatoes. Over here is today's picking. The crew was out there this morning. They picked another 960 pounds of tomatoes off that pallet here. And these right here are the ones that were in the cooler there. These right here, these last few boxes are the tomatoes we picked on Tuesday. We picked another 830 pounds on Tuesday morning. So we're gonna pack all of these first, get them ready for market, and if we need anything more, then we'll start picking out the ones we picked fresh yesterday. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys our cooler and what temperature we store them at. And then I'm going to get to, Isaac's going to continue packing here while I'm going to show you guys. And he was just sitting down watching me film here. And you better get to work here, son. Anyways, so we put the tomatoes in here. This is our small cooler. We built this over the winter. This is what we call our produce cooler or the tomato cooler. And it was just an old restaurant freezer that, you know, it's a freezer and a refrigerator at the same time. So as you guys can see here, the thermostat is running at about 55 degrees. So on tomatoes, you want to keep them between 50 and 60 degrees. And the reason you want to keep them between 50 and 60 degrees is so that the tomato won't go bad. The bacteria around the tomatoes that make like anthracnose and different diseases that happen post-harvest, you know, the bacteria dies off at that temperature, so that's why we go ahead and keep it that way. And right now we have a few blackberries in here, but other than that, it is empty. And a few tomatoes from a few seconds that we didn't sell over the past week. So these are just the tomatoes we are keeping in here. So 55 degrees is where we like to keep it. And now let's go ahead and show you guys how we pack our tomatoes. So I just grabbed the box out of the cart there. And these are the red deuce at a high tunnel number 1 here. And what we're doing here is we just got these rags, we're wiping them down, make sure they're nice and clean. And the things that we know, these are the box of seconds here. We like to separate the yellows, the field runs. We put all the number ones in here. And what makes a tomato a second to me? So a number 1 tomato, a large number 1, is just a perfect red tomato with no scratches, no bruises or anything on it. Isaac is pointing to me right here. This is a perfect number 1 tomato right there. Nothing on it, perfect tomato. It starts to crack a little over there, but it's not too bad there. It's just a beautiful, beautiful tomato. And I think that is a second here. Let me try to find the one here real quick. Like something like that, you know, has a little blemish there, small hole, or something like that. There's a little scratch on the top. That is a second. You could, I mean, it depends on the farmer and who's grading them. And also, if you guys watched my last video, you guys know I mentioned the white core here. So if tomatoes have a big white core there, this is a second to me because, you know, even though it's a beautiful tomato, you can still sell this one right here as a number 1. But the customer's going to take them home and cut them in half. It's going to be all white inside, or just the core is going to be white. So it just depends on the farmer and how much you're selling them for. So our number 1s, we are still selling them for $3.50 a pound. And the reason is there's only a very few vendors with tomatoes at market. So while we're still the main tomato vendors there, we're going to keep our price up. And our customers are used to having the, you know, the top quality tomatoes. So if you're just going to sell them all as field runs and sell them for like $2 a pound or $2.50 or however much you're selling your tomatoes for, maybe you could be a little more lenient on your number 1s and seconds and your canners. But for us, you know, the number 1s need to be pretty much a perfect tomato. Like this one right here, beautiful. This is a 1.5 pound tomato right here. And you know, for me, the bigger they are, the harder it is to grade, because I think all big tomatoes should go in the number 1s here. Well, this one's a number 1. I don't care who's saying there or what or something. So this is a number 1. We just kind of get the rag and wipe them down here and just kind of clean them up and make them shiny. And the reason we use a rag to wipe them down is whenever you take them to the farmer's market and put them on the table and you stack them 2 to 3 high, then the customers that are drive by on the road, they can see your tomatoes off the road and then they'll stop in. So if you just have a layer of tomatoes, you know, the customer is not as likely to see. But if you have a stack of tomatoes and they're all super shiny and red, then the customers that drive by on the road can see your tomatoes. And if you have a lot of competition, You know, people buy with their eyes nowadays. So if you have the beautiful, best quality tomatoes on your table at your booth, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You're gonna sell a bunch of these. So like this one right here, it's just a little cracked. And the reason they're cracked, like this one, it just depends who's grading. You know, I put so much time and energy in this. I would probably put this one as number 1, but I'll put it back in the seconds because Isaac's helping me grade here. So if any customers complain, I'll blame that on him.
That's number 1.
Yeah, that's number 1 right there. So it's just, you know, seconds like this one right here. And the reason is, I left the irrigation on for longer than I should have. So we're seeing a little bit of cracking, but that's not bad. These red deuce are very good, and they're very tolerant of not cracking. So like this tomato right here, as you guys can see here, just that tip there is not perfect. It has some yellowing from sunburn on this side, so we'll put that in the second box. And a lot of the smaller tomatoes are really small tomatoes. I put them here inside the second box as well, just because, you know, whenever you got, you know, beautiful tomatoes on your table and you got one itty bitty one, nobody's gonna wanna, you know, look at that and buy it. So anyways, that's how we grade our tomatoes. There is no specific way to do it. It's just all pretty much farmer preference and what your customers want and desire. But like all these are perfect medium tomatoes that will be, I mean, you know, we have few customers that like those big ones. Most of our customers like these medium sized ones, and very few people like these, you know, the smaller ones. But overall, it is pretty good. Like these ones right here, just depends on the rows and how they look. And another thing, these come at a high tunnel number 2. What you guys see here, this is stink bug damage, and this would be a second tomato as well. But what the stink bug did, it just crawl on top of there and penetrated in there, and its sap creates that yellowing. So I got to go through and spray high tunnel number 2 for the stink bugs. But you know, any insect damage like the stink bug or the cracking or anything, and if it's not perfect round tomato, we are not going to put it in the number 1 box. And even through these seconds, I could grade them harsher. So like this one right here is a perfect tomato, just a tiny crack there and a little bit of stink bug damage. I could probably charge, you know, $2.75 for those, or $3 a pound. And then for my canners, I could charge, you know, even less. But our prices are $3.50 a pound for number 1s, and right now we're at $2.50 a pound for the seconds. And the canners, I just kind of mix them together. And the same price for the number 1s on the yellows. So it's just, yeah, like I said, it's farmer preference. Whatever you think your tomatoes are worth. And like I said in my other videos, you know, you could have the most beautifulest, best tomatoes out there, but if you have nowhere to sell them, then you could charge however much you want. But if you can't get rid of them, there's a problem. But if someone has, you know, a little more ugly tomatoes, but he has really good market, you know, it just depends on your demand and your market and where you're selling and all that other marketing techniques and stuff I could get into. But overall, grading tomatoes is just, like I said, farmer preference. It depends on how much you think you're worth and how much you think your customers, you know, how much your product your customers are getting. So anyways, we got a lot of tomatoes here to grade, and we'll get to it. And we take our time. We just got them packing peaches here about what time we get them packing peaches? About 9 o'clock. And now just tomatoes, and we got the blackberries picked. And we'll just load all these, take them to market tomorrow, and be good, and hopefully we'll sell out. My goal is to I've been taking 300 pounds of number 1s, and then taking about 5 or 6 boxes of the seconds, and 2 to 3 boxes of the yellows. But it just depends on the market dates. They're calling for overcast tomorrow. And this time of year with the farmers markets, it's really depends on the weather if we're gonna have a good day or a bad day. You know, we have good days all the time because we're getting rid of our product. But I like every Saturday being our best ever. And this year we've been pretty fortunate with this whole, you know, COVID thing going on. You know, there's been a lot more restrictions, but a lot of people have been realizing that, you know what, we shouldn't depend on other countries to grow our crops. So a lot more people are buying local this year, and I've really been seeing it in our numbers. This has been our best year yet so far at the farmers markets, even in our farm store. Like, the only problem we have now with our tomatoes is we don't have enough, and it's just we just, you know, don't have enough to sell to all the customers. And people, usually our customers, they like to buy big boxes of tomatoes, like big boxes of canners and stuff. But this year we told them, look, due to the demand, and you know, that's just the supply and demand of it. We just don't have enough to do that. So like I said, it just depends on your market and what your customers want. And we got to get done unloading Adrian. He just got back from another truck. He just got back from another farmer's market. We got to unload his truck and finish packing tomatoes. And if I seem tired, I am. I've been up since 5 o'clock. Just go, go, go. And it's, what is it? What time is it now? Maybe not, I can't see. I'm filming my phone here, and it's just one of those things, one time through. I don't think I want to put much effort into editing this video. So this is just the raw footage of grading tomatoes with Farmer Dre and Isaac. So I'm gonna see if I remember how to put a hyperlapse here on my phone. Don't get too picking. So I just reminded myself why I bought a GoPro with magnetic mounts. I've been trying to find a place to put my phone to film a hyperlapse, so I just can't seem to. I mean, I'm just super tired. I really, you know, just the fans running here in the background really loud. And let's try the truck bed. Man, I can't even speak. Let's see here. There you go. Hashtag redneck engineering. You just grab a tomato from there, set it on there. Maybe. Man, I am. There you go. Enjoy the hyperlapse. Alrighty, so we're still out here packing, and I'm just reminding myself of stuff to say. And we are picking heavily out of our second high tunnel, and now I am 100% convinced that the tomatoes in high tunnel number 2 are not red deuce. And let me explain how we planted those. So I started a bunch of seeds early on for high tunnel number 1, and about 2 months later I started a bunch of seeds. I germinated a bunch for high tunnel number 2. But the thing is, I germinated them a little too late. So the plants were probably 2 to 3 inches tall when it was April 1st, I believe. And I went to our local plant plug auction here in central Missouri, and they had a bunch of red deuce trays for sale. So I was like, you know what? Instead of planting mine that are 2 to 3 inches tall, I'll just buy these. And you know, they're 6 to 8 inches tall. They're beautiful, nice looking plants. So I went ahead and planted those. And I think some those guys from over there kind of either messed up, or I grabbed the wrong trays or something, because we are seeing a lot of these tiny ones here, and these remind me a lot of the celebrities, but they're a lot smaller, so I'm not sure what variety these are. And there's, you know, some of them are red deuce, probably flatter or 2 that were actual red deuce, but I'm not sure. It's looking kind of rough there in high tunnel number 2, and some of the plants are super stunted. And I'm not sure. I just got to look into it and see, you know, what other varieties that can be grown in high tunnels and stuff and whatnot. But yeah, that's one of the dilemmas we are facing this year. So I've calculated, and we've picked, I believe it was right over 8,000 pounds already so far of tomatoes this year. And high tunnel number 2 is just down now, starting to come in production. So hopefully we'll even double that, and maybe I don't think we'll triple it this year. We'll see. There's, like I said, if high tunnel number 2 is completely red deuce, then maybe, but other than that, I don't know. We'll definitely hit that 12, 13, maybe 15,000 pound tomato mark this year. So my goal was to hit 30 pounds of plant, but we will see. But anyways, get back to work here. Alrighty, so we just got done packing the tomatoes. There's 16 30-pound boxes, or 16 half bushel boxes. A half bushel holds about 30 pounds. That's 480 pounds of tomatoes. Hopefully tomorrow will all be gone, and we go ahead and start working on the other pallets for next week. So this is going to be pretty much it for today. Like I said earlier, a lot of the grading is preference on the farmer or on the grower. It just depends what you think your tomatoes are worth and how much your product is worth. So this is going to be pretty much it for today. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go and smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to hit that notification icon so you guys can be notified whenever I do upload a video. I want to say thanks for watching up to this point. You guys have a good day. We'll see you next time.